Hey everybody, it's Captain Column here at Blue Hen Comic Con. John Swasey, very talented voice actor. You've probably seen him in Dragon Ball, and I don't know, there's too many to name. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, man. Thanks for having me. Thanks for being here. Yeah, this is a lot of fun. This is my first time to Delaware, actually. Much less Blue Hen, but it's a great show. They've done a fantastic job. It's only their second year, and I'm thrilled that they had me, and just glad to be here. It's a great show. They're doing a fine job.
Yeah, I noticed you were fighting off crowds of people earlier, which is awesome.
Yeah, it's been very busy for me. I've been doing, like I said, I have no complaints. So it's kind of slowed down. I think they're wrapping up the cosplay contest, which is always a slow time for vendors and such, but I got a chance to walk around. I was blown away. This is an old Sears store, and they have utilized every inch of it. I mean, it's almost like he opened up a Sears store purely for anime and pop culture stuff. And because every little area is filled, and of course it's a department store, so some of the areas are like built for displaying stuff, So anyway, it's really, really cool. They got some great food trucks. They just had an amazing hot dog. So yeah, I'm just having a ball, and this is just great.
So everyone come to Delaware for the hot dogs and the comic shows.
Yeah. Well, there's a good hot dog truck out there. It's the burgers and sandwiches, and they had just an amazing hot dog. And tomorrow I'm going to get the French fries with crab meat, lump crab meat. So I'm in Delaware. I feel like I should get crab.
Sure, it's not quite Maryland, but, they're close enough.
Well, it's the other side of the bay. I mean, right? You're over here and they're over there. And I guess Dover's closer to the Atlantic, but they're crabs. I mean, they're all, it's all good. Chesapeake, it's all good.
Absolutely. Now, the strike just ended. Did the strike affect you a lot? With voice acting, it didn't seem to impact you guys as much, but did the strike affect you?
No, the strike didn't affect us at all, mainly because we're, in Texas, we're non-union, so we didn't have to battle that. But, that's really the main reason. It's we're non-union, so we didn't have to deal with it. But even so, the writer's strike, that started the whole thing, it didn't affect us either because our writers are not part of the Writers Guild, and so that was really more of an LA and New York, Chicago issue, I think, more than anything. But I'm really glad to see they worked it out. I mean, I even though I am non-union, I stand in solidarity with them. I mean, I still worked as a director, and it's kind of a weird thing. I didn't cross any picket lines because I'm non-union, but I support what they were going after, and I applaud them. And, fair pay is something that everybody needs. I mean, I understand people take risks and they should get a larger piece of the pie, but there is no pie if there's nobody to cook it and make it, So I think it's very, very important to remember that, and, just always take care of your employees, and they're going to take great care of you has always been my motto. So I'm glad to see that they got things worked out. So,
absolutely. I think we're all happy about that. So during this time when a lot of actors were not working, anything you were working on that you can discuss?
Yeah. So I've been, I direct full-time at Sentai Filmworks and in Houston. And I've been working on a show called Eminence in Shadow, another show called Love Flops. And those shows have been pretty much occupying my time during the strike period. But Eminence in Shadow is a really cool show. I'm very, very, very proud of that show and the work we've done on it. The actors are amazing, and the whole production value is wonderful. And it's a beautiful show. If you haven't seen it, I highly check it out. Highly recommend you check it out. You can get it on High Dive or Hulu or somewhere on AMC Networks. I'm not sure, because we're owned by AMC Networks, so we're somewhere in there. I don't know where, but check it out on High Dive for sure.
Well, that's very cool. So you've done a lot of the acting part. What's the difference when you step into the director's role?
So for me, being a director came very naturally, just because I've been doing this I've been acting and directing in anime for 27 years. So, and I've been directing for about at least half that time, if not more. And it's just something that I just felt very natural doing it. Going back to the strike, if you let the people that know what they're doing do what they do and just kind of stay out of their way, they'll bring you great success. And so as a director, I go in and it's a 3-team scenario, 3-person scenario. You've got your actor, your engineer, and the director. And you're working together as a team, as a unit, to make this work. So you rely on the engineer to place things where they need to go and make them fit as best they can fit. But you rely on the actor to give you the kind of performance you want. The director's there to sort of make sure those two things meet and are joined together. So for me, I have to make sure as an actor and a director, when I wear the director's hat, I have to make sure I don't do things like give directors reads, like, well, here's how I would do it. That being said, I also need to make sure that sometimes the actor doesn't understand the context of what they're saying. And the process we use at Sentai, where the actor comes in and basically does a dry, cold read through their scenes, and then we go back and place everything. Then we go back and massage it and make it, and if we have to change things, we will. And if we don't, we don't. But that's just our method. And I just have to make sure that I'm not overstepping my bounds as a director, then trying to force how I would act it on them. You know what I mean? And conversely, I run into the same problem in the booth when I'm acting. I don't want to step on a director's toes, But again, it's a collaboration, and I'll get my engineer sometimes go, hey, would it be more like this? And I'll consider it. Actors certainly can make suggestions, and I'm like, sure, let's give it a try. I mean, I'll even tell them, it's like, that's fine. What we've got, I love, but if you think you can beat it, let's try it. I mean, it ain't gonna hurt anything, So, but it's a fun process, and it's different between being an actor, being a director, but it's important to have both in place,
Absolutely. Have any actors asked you, though, well, how would you read this? I know you don't want to do that without being prompted, but do they sometimes say, well, how would you deliver this line?
Sometimes when you're directing, you try to give them clue, like say, let's put more emphasis on this word, or put more. And sometimes the actor just gets it in their head and they keep messing up. And you just have to say, okay, stop, listen to what you're doing. I want it read this way. And they go, oh, okay, I didn't. It's not that I'm giving them a line read. It's like they just got a mental block going on. And so you just have to clear that block out. And once they do it, they do it. And once they hear it, they're like, oh yeah, that makes way more sense. It's like, a line read or whatever occasionally is not a bad thing. And actuality, most actors don't mind it because they just want it to be good. And if the director's like, I need it this way, then they want to, I want to do it the way the director wants it. If I'm not getting there, just hold my hand and walk me through it, So that's generally not a problem.
Very nice. Now, with the work that you're doing, is it a lot of matching flaps, or is it, more, you're not worried about that? You said they do a cold read through. Are they actually looking at a monitor at that point?
Yeah, you're looking at a monitor and the script the whole time. I mean, so you're making sure that the lip flaps work, but you read through it and then you go, okay, so that's short or that's long, or, oh, there's a pause there and stuff like that. So that's certainly a component of it, is making sure the lip flaps look good. When you're watching the dub or the subtitle version, the original Japanese, a lot of times it's off. They don't seem to really care. There's nothing against them. It's just a style, and they're more concerned about a performance versus, matching lip flaps. Whereas in the Western world, we're concerned about both. And because it is a dub, it just, and for so many years, we've seen bad kung fu movies and bad, where the lip flaps are way off and the sync is way off. And so I think it's very jarring for us as an audience to watch. So it has to be, spot on. Otherwise we get bogged down by start focusing on watching the lip flaps and not listening and watching the story, the movie or the show. So it's just, it's got a lot of components to it, but like I said, it's a team and we all have input. We all, are just trying to make it the best we can do.
Very true. And we appreciate the efforts that you and your teams put together for these shows. Any particular lines as an actor that you have found either difficult or hilarious? You were just like, I don't believe I had to say that afterwards.
Yeah. There's lots of lines that I can't believe I had to say. Lots of situations. I mean, it's anime, there's, Dallas Zachary in Attack on Titan has a chair that makes people that sit in it, it's a torture chair, and it makes people sit in it, eat their own excrement. I mean, so there's that. Borderlands, doing video games and stuff, you say stuff that's fun, and it's a fun process. I mean, there's nothing in particular, like one line that I'm just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I said that. But, well, there actually is a lot of lines that I say that too, but it's, it's just a lot of fun. We have a good time. The main thing is to get in there and have fun, have a good time with each other and make it a fun experience all the way around.
Now, you did mention video games, which are fun. Which is more challenging to you, matching the lip flaps or doing all the grunting and groaning and sound when you're doing a video game?
I would say if you had to pick between video games and live or dubbing, video games are far more difficult. For one thing, there are usually, you're going to go through far more lines than you will with an anime, because you're doing, like when you're in a session, you're doing just all of your lines in a video game, and there could be 150. Whereas if you're doing an anime, even if there's a lot of lines, it may be in episode 2, you have 40 lines. In episode 3, you have 8 lines. In episode 4, you have 15 lines. And so there's breaks and stuff like that. Plus, it's not just, I mean, even in video games, a lot of times they do alternate takes. So you have 150 cues. Every cue has an alternate take. That's 300 cues. And so, you're like, doing all these noises and stuff. And it's a lot on your voice. Your vocal cords take a hit. And so that's why it's more challenging to me.
I could definitely see that. Plus, you're following different potential branches of a storyline. So, yeah, a lot more to cover. Now, I understand that your son is a fan of anime, but on occasion he's more inclined to watch the sub. Have you cured him of that?
Yeah, not really. He watches anime, but he still watches a lot of subtitles. I can't fault him. If he watches and supports anime, I'm all for it. But yeah, the time I walked in, he's like, yeah, I'm watching the Japanese version. I was like, dude, that's, you're not going to go to college. I'm not going to pay for it anyway. So, no, but he's a good kid, doing fine. But I still think he loves subtitled over dubs. But that's all right.
It is a big debate in the anime world, subs versus dubs.
It is. Subs versus dubs. And I've got no problem with it. If you like a subtitle movie, great. To each their own. I don't understand the visceral attitudes people have, like, well, dubs suck, and I'm like, well, no, they don't. And I would say that the reason, if dubs suck, then I wouldn't be at a convention right now, and nor would any of the other hundreds of anime voice actors traveling the country, doing conventions be there if dub sucked. I think one of the reasons that this genre has grown, dare I say, exploded in popularity is in great part because of the dubs, not the subs. You know, and frankly, for me, if I'm going to watch something, especially if it's animation, I want to watch it in English. I don't want to watch it. I don't want to have to read it. You know, you spend all your time looking at the lines and reading it, and you miss all the animation that's going on, and you know, facial expressions and all kinds of stuff. So it's far better to watch a movie than it is to read a movie.
Absolutely. Though, of course, if you're a fan of sub, you know, all the more power to you.
If you're a fan of subs, man, more power to you. I got nothing against you, but I would don't. Yeah, it's a personal preference. That's all, you know. And one should not have disdain for the other, you know.
Very true. Now, speaking of the exponential explosion of voice actors, probably every con, at least someone asks you, you know, how do I get into voice acting? Why do you think so many people want to become voice actors?
Well, I think the proliferation of voice actors and people that want to be a voice actor is just they love the genre, and they you know, I think a lot of them feel that I'm just using my voice, so how hard can it be? And it's, you know, well, that's exactly it. You just hit the nail on the head. It's doubly hard because all you can use is your voice. And so, but I don't know. I think, you know, myself, and I know a ton of other anime voice actors who have had the privilege of connecting with a fan or something that, you know, there's something revealed, you know, you changed my life, you saved my life. You know, whatever it might be, you had a very profound and positive impact on me, and I loved your voice and stuff. And those are very touching moments when you meet somebody like that. But I think, you know, I think that a lot of the fans love what you do and think they've got a voice and they can do it too. And in all honesty, they can. It's just a lot harder to get into now than it used to be. So,
right. And, you know, as you only have your voice, and it is acting, and a lot of people concentrate on the voice and not the acting. If there was one piece of advice that you would give to someone who was considering getting into voice acting, what would that be?
If I had one piece of advice I could give, I would say take an acting class, whether it be in theater or film or whatever. Learn the craft of acting, because that's all we're doing. We're just also happen to be in front of a microphone in a booth, but we're just acting. You know, we're no different than if we were on the stage or in front of a camera or, you know, whatever. It's acting. If you can't get your emotional message across, it doesn't matter. It's going to fail. So learn how to act.
Absolutely. Very, very good advice. And is there a character that you have portrayed that you'd really kind of like to go back and portray again? Is there anyone that you really felt this is an awesome role and I want to return to it?
Yeah, a lot of roles that I've done, I'd love. Like I'm getting ready to start, I hope, my hero for All for One. Crocodile, I understand, may be coming back in One Piece. They're going to do a season 4 of Black Butler. So Undertaker will be coming back. I'm very excited about that. But I really wish that there was a way that Lord Death from Souleater would come back. So that's kind of my hope and my prayer. And if he did, even if it was in Fire Force or something, if he did, and they made a Funko Pop of him, which they wish they would have done to begin with, I will get a tattoo of Lord Death.
That would be very cool. Though, of course, your son would still watch the sub.
I wouldn't care at that point.
So, as we wrap up, anything you'd like to say to your fans out there?
Just guys, thank y'all so much for all your support. It means really the world to us, to me, but to all of us voice actors. I mean, I think there's a kind of a misconception that all of us live in solid gold houses and drive solid gold cars, and we don't. We're working hard, but none of us, at least when I say none of us, the ones that started 27 years ago, we never dreamed that this would turn into what it is. And we're just all very, very grateful and thankful. But it's because of the fans. And for that, we just thank each and every one of them.
And we are very thankful that you spent this time with us. John, thank you so much.
You bet, man. Thank you for having me.
Hey, anytime. You want to come back anytime. And everyone out there, thanks for watching. And as always, have fun and follow your fandom.
This is All for One. You are watching Fandom Spotlight. Continue to do so and follow your fandom, or I will obliterate everything you protected.